Welcome to Fireside Chat. My name is Sai. If you're new to my channel, I talk about how I budget, save, and invest money to achieve financial independence. In my previous video, I talked about Dave Ramsey's baby steps 1, 2, and 3 and how they were similar and different from my own debt-free journey back in 2014 to 2016. Ever since I paid off my $100,000 in debt back in 2016, I have been on this fat fire journey by saving and investing at least 60% of my income, and I kept my expenses as low as possible, but not to the point where I didn't enjoy my life. My family and I prefer to experience things like traveling, fine dining, and just trying something new. We set money aside every year for these specific expenses while we're still saving for early retirement. Dave Ramsey's baby steps 4, 5, and 6 focus on building wealth. Dave talks about how living like no one else can allow you to later live like no one else. So in this video, I'm going to talk about how our Fat Fire journey is similar and different from Dave Ramsey's baby steps 4, 5, and 6. I'm also going to cover what we plan to do when we reach financial independence, or Dave Ramsey's baby step 7, which is to keep building wealth and become outrageously generous. Dave Ramsey's baby step number 4 is to invest 15% of your gross income for retirement. Now, Dave has said in his podcast that he wants you to only invest 15% of your gross income into retirement so you can work on baby step 6, which I will get to later. Let's compare this to what my fiance and I will invest for retirement starting in 2022. She will have her state pension fund, which she contributes 15% of her gross income. She also contributes half of our HSA and her own Roth IRA. I will have 401k, Roth IRA, and the other half of HSA. Saving 15% of your gross income into retirement is a great start if you're in your 20s because of the power of compound interest. If you're in your 30s and you're just now starting out your retirement savings, then you might need to save more than 15%, like maybe 18% or 20%, and that just depends on your income. If you're in your 40s, then you might need to save even more if you're looking to retire early. Let me show you the article Ally Bank did on savings rate by age. The example is based on the US median household annual income of $68,700 with 6% average annual return. If you start saving 15% of your income towards retirement at age 25, then you would have about $1.6 million by age 65. If you start saving at age 35, then you have about $815,000. If you start saving at age 45, then you would only have about $380,000. So the bottom line is your retirement savings rate should be based on the age you start saving for retirement. I know many people, especially in the millennial generation, don't get to start saving or investing until they're in their 30s because of the debt repayment. If you're in your 20s, your time is on your side. If you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, and you just start investing for retirement, you can still do it. You'll just have to invest more than 15% towards your retirement to catch up. Here's the order of retirement investment my fiance and I will do starting in 2022. We're going to prioritize our 401k and state pension because of the employer match. If we didn't get the employer match, then it probably wouldn't be on the top of our list. The second priority is to invest in Roth IRA and HSA. I know in one of my previous videos I said we would prioritize Roth IRA over HSA. However, it would probably make more sense to prioritize the HSA because of the triple tax advantages. Instead of treating HSA as a medical spending account or a health savings account, we treat it like a retirement account because it operates like the combination of traditional and Roth IRA. The HSA allows us to contribute in pre-tax, so that lowers our taxable income. The money we put in the mutual fund through HSA will grow tax-free. We can also withdraw from our HSA tax-free if it's for qualified medical expenses. Also, if we keep all of our medical receipts now, then we can withdraw from our HSA tax-free when we retire early, and that could potentially become a separate source of tax-free income. I did 2 separate videos about the HSA and the Roth IRA, so if you want to know more, you can check out the links in the description below. People on the Fat Fire journey generally save anywhere between 50 to 70% of their income towards retirement accounts and non-retirement accounts so they can retire early. My fiance and I will roughly save about 60% of our annual gross income towards our savings and investment accounts. Something else I want you to keep in mind is to make sure you have enough cash or some liquid assets if you have upcoming large expenses. So my rule of thumb is if I have large expenses up to $20,000 in the next 2 to 3 years, then I want to park that in the high yield savings account. For example, if I'm buying a new car in the next 2 years, then I'll have the cash parked in my savings account. If I'm buying a new car in 3 years or later, then I would park it in the index fund. This is just what I would do, so you can do whatever you want. You can even create separate savings accounts for your sinking funds. So if you need to buy a vehicle, fix your roof, home improvement, or even buy an engagement ring. So what I'm trying to say is to make sure you don't have all of your money tied up in your retirement accounts. You need to have some cash that you can immediately access if you're looking to make large purchases. By the way, if you need help with your personal finances, you can schedule a free one-on-one 20-minute financial coaching session. You can fill out the introductory form by clicking the link in the description below. Dave Ramsey's baby step number 5 is to save and invest for your children's college fund. He recommends investing in 529 college savings plan or education savings accounts or ESAs. I want you to keep in mind that everyone's situation is different. You don't have to contribute to your child's college fund if you don't have the extra cash to do so. This is completely up to you. If you decide to contribute to your child's 529, ESA, or UPMA, make sure you're saving enough money for your retirement first. I have been contributing $100 a month towards my 9-year-old daughter's 529 account ever since the day she was born. I also invest in her UTMA or UPMA account, which stands for Uniform Transfer to Minors Act, to make sure she has some money to pay for a deposit for her first apartment or maybe her first car. The great thing about the 529 is that you can grow the investment tax-free. You can even have your friends and family contribute to the 529 account. Most parents, including myself, would not want their children to be heavily in debt with student loans. I want to educate my daughter about the ROI from getting a bachelor's degree or master's degree. I wouldn't want her to go to a private college and get $100,000 in student loans just to get a degree in puppet arts. As far as how much you should invest into your kids' college fund, it depends on how much you want to cover for your kids' tuition expenses. If you decide you only want to cover half the tuition, then you can set a target goal for that amount. Let me quickly show you this chart for the 529 investment. On the low end, if you invest $1,200 a year or $100 a month to the 529 with 6% average annual return, then you could roughly have about $37,000 saved by the time your child turns 18. On the high end, if you invest $7,800 a year or $650 a month, then you could have over $245,000 invested by the time your child turns 18. So again, how much you want to invest for your child's college fund is entirely up to your income and budget. If you think you can spare $100 a month, then do that. If your income is higher and you can afford to put more, then put more. I would just make sure that you educate your children on college tuition, expenses, and the ROI for the college degrees your kids are going to earn. Dave Ramsey's baby step number 6 is to pay off your home as soon as possible. So if you owe a mortgage on your home, he wants you to only invest 15% towards your retirement back in baby step 4, invest however much you want for your kids' college in baby step 5, and put whatever you have left towards mortgage. If you already have a 30-year mortgage, then he wants you to pay extra towards principal like a 15-year mortgage. This is probably the most controversial baby step, so let me break it down for you. Dave recommends getting a 15-year fixed mortgage instead of the 30-year mortgage because the interest rate for the 15-year mortgage is lower and you're paying off the principal a lot faster. I'm going to use Dave's own chart for example here. So his chart assumes that you purchase a $300,000 home with 20% down. Then you get a home loan for $240,000. If your mortgage term is 15 years with 3.5% interest rate, well, which is a lot lower now in the year 2021, then your monthly payment is $1,700. Total interest is $69,000, so the total mortgage is about $309,000. If your mortgage term is 30 years with 4% interest rate, then your mortgage payment is $1,146. Total interest is $172,000, so the total mortgage is $412,000. Let me talk about the positive thing about the 15-year mortgage, and that is you get to pay off your home 15 years sooner and you pay a lot less on interest. Dave recommends that your total household expenses should not exceed 25% of your household take-home income. I agree that your household expenses should not exceed 25%. However, people living in the expensive areas may not be able to afford a 15-year mortgage. If they abide by Dave's rules, then they would most likely have to move outside the city limits. I would agree with Dave that people should eventually pay off their mortgage, and it would give me the peace of mind that I don't ever have to worry about missing mortgage payments. Not that I ever missed any. So in our case, we're not looking to pay off our mortgage until we turn 50 years old. The main reason is the opportunity cost, and let me break it down for you. If you're in your 20s or 30s and you just bought your first home, I would take advantage of the 30-year mortgage to invest the spread. So let me use the same scenario again. If I get the 30-year mortgage and my monthly payment is $1,146, and I could use the spread of $570 into my index fund. With annual average return of 7%, my $570 a month or $6,840 a year into my index fund could turn into $747,000 in 30 years. So instead of paying off my home in 15 years to have $240,000 completely paid off, I could save and invest it and end up coming out more in investment. It's also easier to access my money in mutual funds, stocks, or ETFs. If I paid off my home early, then my wealth is tied up with the property, which is not a liquid asset. I will have to wait for someone to buy my house to convert it to cash. Now, if I'm buying a second house or a third house and I'm in my late 40s, then my strategy would be a little different. I would prefer to have those homes paid off within 6 to 9 years. Because my time with index fund is shorter, so I may not be guaranteed to have 7% in average annual return. As I approach 50 years in age, I would reduce my risk to pay off the home as early as possible. If you have a different strategy or disagree with this strategy, I would love to hear it in the comment section down below. By the way, if you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, my next video is going to be about why we chose to save and invest for Fat Fire. Dave Ramsey's final baby step is to build wealth and give. So Dave Ramsey says, live like no one else so later you can live and give like no one else. When we reach financial independence and retire early, we want to continue to save and invest. We want to build wealth so we can pass it from one generation to another, and that's called building generational wealth. Our goal for Fat Fire is to have at least $100,000 a year in passive income. That could come from our future real estate properties or the stock market. The whole point of reaching financial independence and baby step 7 is to have that peace of mind. How would you feel if you lost your job tomorrow, but you have $2 million invested in the stock market? With 4% withdrawal rate, that's roughly $80,000 a year in passive income. What if you had 10 rental properties that paid you $80,000 a year? Would you quit your job tomorrow so you could spend more time with your family or do something else that you love? If you're on the Dave Ramsey baby step plan or you're on some type of FIRE plan, I am rooting for you. Like Dave says, you want to live like no one else now, so later you can live and give like no one else. Thank you so much for watching my video. Let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are on Dave Ramsey's baby steps 4, 5, 6, and 7. If you need help with your personal finances, you can contact me by filling out the introductory form, link in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out these 2 fire videos and my Instagram page. I will post a new fire video every Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more fire videos.